Have you ever felt?
Are you listening? Damn.
What's up, everyone? We are continuing to look at the market, cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin, altcoins, and so on. What is happening, what to expect, some TA, some news, and first of all, I would like to mention this thing which I didn't tell about yesterday and 2 days ago. This is the news from Coinbase. They say that they will add, finally added XRP and OMseGo to Coinbase custody. Speaking about XRP, here is what we see with XRP along this bear period with the drop of Bitcoin. So you see how it went down to 42 cents or something like that. And actually, comparing to the overall market, I think it's one of the best performers. So it's basically returned back to its previous levels when it had before the drop, and now actually XRP is on the second position in CoinMarketCap, and it's like already $2 billion above Ethereum, and actually not so far from Bitcoin, as despite how silly it sounds, but still you see the like weekly performance. This is the Ethereum performance, this is XRP performance. So of course Ethereum may pick up the speed and return this position, but so far XRP looks very bullish, and actually the same as Stellar. I would argue it actually looks pretty nice. So yeah, I think that we have some kind of movement in terms of the dominance in the market, and maybe XRP will hold this and even go above that, and some people even say that it will run the market, the altcoin season by its own, by only XRP will rise while all the other altcoins and Bitcoin will stay stagnant and so on. So, but however, let's look at the price of Bitcoin, what to expect, and let me return to the general chart here. So as we talked about before, we were looking at the major resistance and support levels on the volume, and actually what you can see is that we are making the spread between highs and lows lower and lower and lower, and actually we did sort of tested that 8 hours ago or something like that, like this resistance level with a little bit tick of the volume, and we returned back basically quite soon. So another test of the highs now. So, and actually we have quite steady rise in the price for the recent couple of days. It means that we are approaching to the resistance level, so maybe it's very likely that we go above that once after we test it once again, maybe a couple of times. Anyway, this is the possible event which happens in the next maybe a week or so. However, on the other hand, such move may be like a correction, may be corrected after some time, and then this correction may lead to the opposite move, like a test of the support and even the lows which we had before. So it's actually quite unclear what will happen, but especially with this low volume over there. So I would still remain bearish on this level, but still it's better to pick it up on this level anyways, and just average your entry point when it will go down. Also, if we move to daily chart, we can see that currently we are very far from moving average, 200 days moving average. It's like $1,200 depending on which exchange you look at, but it's really far. It means that we actually in an officially bear market at the moment. And also, if we look at the RSI, it's still, I think, quite bearish. It's quite oversold. Oh, I have too many of them. So let's remove Bollinger Bands and add RSI once again. So it remains very much oversold, and that means that we are Oh, we have 2 RSI, of course. So it means that we are in the zone which is supposed to be moving upwards in terms of the price, but you know, sometimes we can stay there for really, really long. What I was going to mention today as one of the most important things is that if we look at the long history of Bitcoin and sort of translate it to this current condition, we can build a sort of prediction of which levels we can look at as a potential bottoms or potential resistance on the way down. And full credits of this is to Alessio Restani on his recent video about the symmetrical movement of the market, and I personally really liked it because it makes perfect sense. And so you can see that we had the basis, the sort of support of $6,000, which we broke finally, and in this case we may expect the market move symmetrically from this point, and good price may go down to the level which was before at the previous highs. So for example, actually I would extend things which were talked about in Alessio's video. So those are 2 highs. I would not take into account this one because it's really awkward, a really weird thing. So anyway, from this point we had basically down to symmetrical low from this high to 5,200, and if we consider these 2 highs, we actually would see the same the possible move to 4,500 and 3,500, well, around that levels. So, and it's pretty much reasonable because you see a lot of people are bearish and pointing out to the level below $5,000. So 4,500 is very, very reasonable. The thing is also that it sort of matches the difference between current level and moving average to 100-day moving average. And finally, if we look at the price action in 2014 year, then we would see that initially we formed a base around the level of something like $400, and that was quite a support as well as $6,000 for us these days. And you can, oh my goodness, sorry about that. So you can see that it was tested several times. So here and here and here and here, and then finally we had the breakdown of these levels around this area. And according to this symmetrical behavior theory or whatever, we may go to the level exactly like on the amplitude exactly the same as we had before for the highs. So if we'll translate it downwards from this resistance, then it will be something like $86 or $90 per Bitcoin. But actually we didn't go that far, and from Alessio's point of view we actually did, and he made a little bit different ticks in this plot, but it doesn't really matter. It means still that the average amplitude of the drop is sort of comparable to these highs. So in principle we may expect such a huge drop. So if you think of the current situation from this perspective, so we are somewhere around here, or maybe somewhere around here now, depends on which scale you look at. So anyway, from this point we may very well go down like additionally 20 to 40%, and at the moment we are in the condition when the volume is decreasing, the spread is decreasing, and we are about to decide where to go when it will be in a very narrow range. So here it is, but still the thing is, whatever you would decide to buy or hold a side of the market, don't forget that if you would like buy just a little, maybe 10% of your initial internal portfolio for the trading at the moment, it will be a nice hedge for the future rise, and if it will go down, you can always buy more, additional 10%, and you will average your entry. It is much better than to buy much higher or to entry for the whole your fund at the current price, or try to catch the falling knife, which is a crazy thing to do. So anyway, everything which is my personal opinion, not financial advice, don't forget about that. Tomorrow I would have a little bit more bullish video. Sorry for this bearish sentiment today. I have some general sentiment about the Bitcoin and why it should not stay here forever, and why it is the future of financial system and so on. So please stay tuned, follow me on YouTube and Twitter, and please subscribe, leave a like and comment. As always, see you tomorrow next update. Safe trading, guys. Goodbye.